You woke up today and a quiet voice told you the project wasn't ready, you weren't in the mood, and tomorrow would be a better start. You believed it. That voice feels like wisdom, like instinct, like some inner truth protecting you from a mistake. By the end of this, you'll see it for what it actually is, and you'll know how to move while it's still talking. Here's the trap most people never escape. They treat what they feel as information about the world. The fear says, this is dangerous, so they assume danger is real. The boredom says, this doesn't matter, so they quit. The dread before the gym, the resistance before the cold email, the heaviness before the hard set of reps, each one gets read like a weather report on reality itself. But a feeling is a sensation, not a measurement. And sensations lie constantly. Think about the last time you were genuinely terrified to do something. Post the video, send the pitch, ask for the rate you actually wanted. Your whole body screamed that it would end badly. Then you did it. And the catastrophe your gut promised, it never showed up. The feeling was vivid, urgent, total. It was also wrong. So why does it feel so much like truth? Because the part of you generating these signals was built for a world that no longer exists. Your emotional machinery was tuned over hundreds of thousands of years to keep a fragile primate alive on a dangerous plane. Its entire job was to flood you with urgency at the first hint of social risk. Because back then, being cast out by the group could get you killed. That system can't tell the difference between a predator in the grass and a comment section. It treats your first sales call like something that wants to eat you. The discomfort you feel before doing something bold is an old alarm firing on outdated software. Now, make this practical for someone trying to build a life on their own terms. You're not on a payroll. Nobody is going to drag you out of bed and force you to ship. The only engine you have is you, which means the single most expensive habit you can carry is the belief that you must feel ready before you act. You won't feel ready. Almost never. The feeling of readiness is a reward your brain hands out after you start. As payment for beginning, never a permission slip it gives you before. Let me show you what this looks like in motion. Picture two people learning to code, same skill level, same free hours in the evening. One waits to feel motivated. The other treats motivation as irrelevant. After 6 months, the gap between them has nothing to do with talent. It's hours logged while feeling absolutely flat, tired, uninspired, and typing anyway. That second person discovered something quietly radical. You can act against your own internal state. You can be anxious and brave in the same breath. You can feel zero desire and still open the laptop. The feeling and the action were never actually chained together. You just assumed they were. So how do you put space between the signal and the response? It starts with renaming what's happening inside you. The next time dread shows up before a hard task, stop calling it a reason. Call it weather. Clouds move across the sky and you don't cancel your life because it's overcast. The dread is a cloud. It will pass whether you obey it or not. Your job is to keep walking under it. This is the part nobody wants to hear. The discomfort sticks around even once you're disciplined. That's the fantasy, that one day you'll level up and the resistance will be gone. That tracking your food or sending the invoice will stop feeling like a chore. The person building the physique still opens Savor to scan a barcode at 6 a.m. when they'd rather skip it. Link in the description. And the person grinding the business or the skill you admire feels the exact same friction you do. They simply stopped waiting for it to leave before they moved. You might be thinking, aren't feelings sometimes right? Shouldn't I trust my gut? Fair. Sometimes the unease is real signal. The deal that feels off, the partner who sets off something you can't name, the burnout your body is begging you to honor, those matter, and ignoring them carries its own cost. So here's the line that separates wisdom from self-sabotage. A feeling worth heeding stays steady when you examine it calmly, and gets clearer with information. A feeling that's just resistance gets louder the closer you move toward growth, then vanishes the second you let yourself off the hook. Test it. Walk toward the thing. If the dread spikes and then dissolves the moment you commit, it was avoidance wearing a costume. Most of what stops you fails that test. The "I'll start Monday," the "I need to research a bit more," the "I don't feel like it today." These feel like considered decisions. They're stalling dressed up as judgment. And the cost compounds in a way you can't see day to day. Every time you let a feeling make the call, you teach yourself a quiet lesson, that your moods are the boss and you're the employee. Run that for a year, and you've built a person who negotiates with their own resistance every single morning and loses. Run the opposite. Act first, feel later, and you build someone whose word to themselves actually means something. That's the real asset, not motivation. Self-trust. Watch how this plays out over a single ordinary week. A friend of mine wanted to start freelancing on the side. Smart, capable, more than ready on paper. Every evening he'd open his laptop, feel the weight of "I'm too drained tonight," and close it again. He wasn't lazy. He was honest about his feelings, and that honesty was quietly burying him. The breakthrough came when he stopped asking himself whether he felt up to it. He just set a rule: laptop open by 8, fingers on the keys, regardless of the mood in the room. The mood, it turned out, was a passenger that always claimed to be the driver. Within a month, he had 2 clients. The drained feeling never went away. It just lost its power to cancel his evenings. That's the quiet shift you're after. You stop asking your emotions for their opinion on whether to act, the way you'd stop asking a toddler whether it's bedtime. You love them, you hear them, you still run the house. And there's a sharper edge to this when it comes to the big decisions. The discomfort you avoid today doesn't vanish. It gets transferred with interest to a future version of you. Skip the workout, and someone 6 months ahead inherits a softer body. Dodge the hard conversation, and someone a year ahead inherits a worse relationship. You're never really choosing comfort. You're choosing which version of yourself has to pay. And you're almost always sending the bill to someone who can't fight back. Future you, who trusted present you to handle it. When you frame it that way, the flat morning feeling shrinks. It stops being a wall and starts being a small tax you pay now, so the person you're becoming doesn't have to pay a fortune later. Here's a small thing you can run tomorrow. Pick one task you've been circling for weeks, the one with a little charge on it. Set a timer for 10 minutes and start it while you still feel reluctant. On purpose, with the reluctance fully present. The whole point is to prove, with evidence your own hands generate, that the feeling held no authority over your body the entire time. 10 minutes is the whole deal. Small enough that the resistance can't justify itself. Real enough that something actually moves. Most days, you'll blow past 10 and keep going, because the hard part was always the first keystroke, the first rep, the first sentence of the message you've been drafting in your head for a week. You'll notice something around minute 3. The resistance that felt like a wall was actually a door, and it only opened from the inside, after you'd already stepped through. Starting is what kills the dread. So the feeling you were waiting on only passes once you ignore it. There's a deeper layer here, and it's the one that changes how you see yourself. You are the thing watching your feelings, not the feelings themselves. The fear arrives, the doubt arrives, the flat gray nothing arrives, and some quiet part of you observes all of it without being any of it. That observer is who you actually are, and that observer can choose. It can let the wave roll through and still move the hand toward the keyboard. Once you feel that gap, the space between the storm and the one watching it, you stop being at the mercy of your own chemistry. You start running your life from the part that decides, instead of the part that reacts. This is what freedom actually is. A life where fear and doubt and those gray mornings show up and simply don't get a vote. You hear them out, you thank the old alarm for trying, and you move anyway, calmly, the way you drive through light rain. The people you're quietly comparing yourself to, the ones who shipped the product, built the audience, got the body, walked away from the safe option, they were handed a cleaner set of emotions than you. They were drowning in the same doubt. They demoted it from oracle to background noise. So here's the challenge, and it starts now. For the next week, every time a feeling tries to make a decision for you, catch it. Name it out loud if you have to. That's just the weather. Then do the opposite of what it's demanding. Open the laptop when it says rest. Send the message when it says wait. Add the wait when it says enough. You won't enjoy it. That's the point. You're chasing a person who doesn't need a feeling to move, not the feeling itself. And one day, not far from now, you'll sit down to do the hard thing, and the old dread will rise up right on schedule, loud and certain and convincing as ever. You'll glance at it the way you'd glance at a forecast for a town you don't even live in anymore. Then you'll get to work. That's the whole game. Your feelings get to ride along, they just never again get to drive.